Hey guys, I'm curious. I want you to please enlighten me a little bit. I want to get your perspectives on something here. There's a lot of chatter with, about the Yankees, the moves that they've made, the moves that they have not made, the moves that they've yet to make potentially this offseason as it pertains to Anthony Volpe, because I'm hearing a lot of chatter from a lot of people, whether it's on here or Twitter or wherever, mostly social media, about, all this pressure is now, because the Yankees didn't sign Trevor Story or any of these big shortstops, that all this pressure is on Anthony Volpe's shoulders now. Now, do I get he's a highly touted prospect? Yes. As is Jason Dominguez. And a lot of these same people called him the next Mickey Mantle, the next Mike Trout. So there's appropriate pressure put on his shoulders too. But the pundits, content creators, fans, and I don't know who else, people are all across social media, Twitter. I mean, the Twitter sphere is crazy right now. People are all outraged and twittered, and triggered, not twittered, about, this Yankee offseason was a total bust, a total failure. They could have gotten this guy, they could have gotten that guy. There's no guarantee they could have gotten these guys. We all know that agents drive up the price, and they use the Yankees to do it a lot. Okay? The Yankees could have gotten some guys. Could they have had a more robust offseason? Probably. But again, there's no guarantee these guys wanted to come here, so we don't know. Okay, but you know who's not communicating all this stuff? Like, the reason why we didn't make this move is because of Anthony Volpe, because of Oswald Pros, because the Yankees are not relaying this information. Okay, they're not saying they're doing it. Just like they didn't say, Cashman's never. He said we have latitude to do some things. We want to upgrade in this areas. He never said, yeah, we're going to bring in Correa. We're going to trade for Brian Reynolds, and we're going to trade for Matt Olson or for bring him. He never said any of those things. Okay, people are basing their opinions on obviously what's available and what's being communicated through the social media sphere and Twitter and the beat writers and the sports writers and everybody else, the Buster Onlys of the world. And I get it, but keep in perspective here. It's almost like, and I hate using this word. It's almost like political propaganda. Okay, and excuse the word, but a bunch of bullshit, and then it gets spread, and then you have a certain amount of people who follow that bullshit machine, and then they spread it around, and everybody's talking about the same thing, and completely ignoring the fact that it's not factual. It's just, that's how propaganda works, right? And again, and we all know about that. I don't like that stuff on the channel. I call it out when it gets put on the channel, so we try to avoid that stuff, especially on the live streams, because this is a baseball channel, not a political propaganda machine, okay? But with that said, a lot of people are very outraged about, this pressure that's apparently been put on Volpe's shoulders. And I get it. Are the expectations high? Absolutely. Absolutely. But keep in mind, they have Kiner Falefa here for 2 years. They've got Donaldson for 2 years. DJ for 5. Correa for 3. I mean, not Correa. Gleyber Torres for 3. Okay? And there's plenty of time for Volpe to develop. Just like there's plenty of time for Dominguez to develop. So why the to me, the unnecessary, attempt at outraging people and riling people up for this? And then already planting the seed in their head that if Volpe doesn't pan out, everything they did was a waste. Do I think they could have done, this is the most robust free agent class in a long time. Do I think they could have done more? Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, Correa addresses one position. They had six positional holes to address, or 5 or 6. All right? Story addresses 1. Freeman, 1. They still have the bigger need, which is starting pitching. I think they will fill that. I don't know with who, but that still remains to be seen what they're going to do there. But what is this, what's with all the noise? I'm just curious. And again, this is why I ask questions like this and I do videos like this, because I want different perspectives. My perspective isn't the only one that matters. Yours does too. Okay? I don't want people who are just to come on here and say, you're right, I agree. I like people who disagree because it forces me to think about things a little bit differently. We may never agree on it, but fine, I don't care. Just because you don't agree with me doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong. Okay? That's why the live streams, we have healthy debate. As long as people are respecting each other, it's all good. Healthy debate is good. Again, I don't need people out there to just feed my ego. I don't need to feed my ego either. Okay? It's pointless on a baseball channel. This is not about me. This is about baseball. It's about you guys. Okay, so please give me some insight here. I want to know what you guys are thinking about. Do you agree with all this pressure being put on Volpe's shoulders? Do you know? And again, because it's something the Yankees have never said. So, the expectation that he's, if he doesn't turn out to be Derek Jeter, it's a complete waste of failure. They have Oswaldo Cabrera. They have Oswald Peraza. They have a Trey Sweeney. This kid, Roderick Harris. They have a pipeline of guys. And the fact is, they have drafted and developed players a hell of a lot better in the last decade than decades prior to that. So there is reason to be excited. Good reason. And I'm one of the people who are excited. So, and I hope some of these guys pan out. But keep in mind, other teams do the same thing. They prospect code and they keep guys because they think they want them to pan out. The Dodgers, the Rays, the Mariners, all the big teams, the Padres. And when teams are the best, at their best, they have an infusion of young prospects and good role players and superstars, a balance across the board. The Yankees haven't had that in a while. Now they have the opportunity to do that in the next couple of years. So, and the same thing, the flip side, the Yankees could have signed Correa and Story, and what if it turned out to be either injury prone, turned into be another Jacoby Ellsbury contract, or they didn't make a difference and didn't bring a World Series in. That, we have to, lever that, perspective too. If they turn out to be busts, they could be busts just like the prospects could be busts. Okay, they might have been superstars, but we've seen guys that were great that have come to New York and shit the bed. Excuse me, but it's happened. Right? So, regular players have come here and stunk to join up. So, just like prospects, again, prospects, and I agree, prospects, no guarantee because they're prospects. There's also no guarantee that somebody coming from the West Coast is going to do great here in New York. The same thing applies. Okay? Now, obviously, there are clutch players like Correa, this and that, but the fact is, they're not here. He's on the Twins. Did anybody think he was going to go to Twins? Probably not. Okay? But it is what it is. And again, keep in mind, too, before the Minnesota trade, the situation would have been different. Had they brought in one of these big shortstops, they could have just planted him at shortstop. After the trade of Minnesota, if you brought in one of these guys, you'd have to sit a productive player. Okay? And when you have multiple positional holes to fill, that's kind of you're offsetting one position with another. And that's why I said, you bring in somebody like Story, you don't sit kind of for left to play Story. You have to play both of them at the same time. Because that represents speed and athleticism, something that the Yankees have not had, that they got rid of this offseason. So, but then going back to the initial point, let me know what you think about this. I don't see the point in people fighting about this. Am I fired up about the Yankees offseason? No, but again, on paper means absolutely nothing. So people can say they're a fourth place team all they want, but there's the same chance that the Red Sox can shit the bed. The Blue Jays, the Rays, they can also do the same thing. So can the Dodgers. So can the Braves. It can happen. It has happened. So right now we're in the offseason. We're in the preseason, right? And hopefully the Yankees stay healthy and play better. I do think they got incrementally better. Miles better? No, but they're going to be a good team. Donaldson stays healthy. He's going to rake. Kind of Fluff is bringing a different dynamic to the team. Donaldson brings that different dynamic to the team as well. My one thing, and I've said this repeatedly, they need to get another starting pitcher. Because no positional player on a big contract solves a starting pitcher deficit. None. Not one. Doesn't matter who it is. Babe Ruth doesn't solve a starting pitcher deficit. They could score 11 runs but give up 12. What the hell is the point if you don't bring the starting pitcher? So that's my take on this. I want to know what you guys think. And do you feel the same about Volpe? Do you feel the same way about Dominguez as you do Volpe? And again, let me make this clear. Do I think they could have done more? Yeah, I think they missed out on Robbie Ray and Carlos Rodon, guys who represented bigger needs. So they have to obviously trade for a starting pitcher because there's no one in free agency right now that's going to fit the bill of what they need as a clear number 2. So I really hope Cashman does, and I would be utterly disappointed if he didn't, and I would not have any problem communicating that. But it hasn't been a complete failure. Just because the Red Sox got Trevor Story. Okay, that's good. They also lost Hunter Renfroe. Chris Sale's already out, potentially several months with a fractured rib. Okay, Blue Jays are great on paper. Okay, the Rays are always good. Okay, but again, just because Texas Rangers made all those moves doesn't mean they're going to, win the West. Just because the Mets made all those moves doesn't mean they're going to win the East. What if they miss the playoffs? Are you going to be saying the same thing about them as we're talking about the Yankees? So, and again, we're Yankee fans, so we're passionate, we're opinionated. I get all that stuff. But I want to make sure, at the very least, we're entertaining different perspectives here, at least as it pertains to this channel. I hope that we do. And, there's a reason why he's the GM as much as people don't want him to be the GM, and we're not. Okay? He doesn't call a content creator and say, let me get your opinion on this. No. Everybody knows that. Okay? But again, we all have varying opinions, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing to me, too, because I hope it does push people like a Cashman or whatnot, and you never know. But I don't think he's calling any fans directly or content creators directly asking them how to build the team. We don't even know what type of parameters he has. And again, saying he's got latitude doesn't mean go get everybody you want. Never has he said that. Never has Hal said that. They said they wanted to upgrade in certain areas. They did as much as they can, I think. But again, I think they struck out in a couple areas too. But I'm not calling this offseason a total bust either. So, but that's just me. People are welcome to do that. But let's get into this, guys. Let me know what you think.